Welcome to the LANCave, where we're living as nerds. I'm Patrick, joined by Owen.
Hello.
Yeah, we're here talking gaming news, all kinds of nerdy stuff. A little bit of crypto in there. Who knows what we're going to talk about? Doge is going crazy, man.
It is going crazy.
This is
who let the Doge out?
We call it doggy coin. No.
Dude, no, it's no. You gotta call it by the correct thing.
Of course, yeah. It's based. I mean, we're hip. We know the memes. So now, like,
you don't say that you have shares in Doge, though, dude.
No.
Because that's. I mean, I don't know why that quickly annoyed me. Where I was like, it's not stock.
It's not stock. You're not buying shares. You're buying fractional percentages. Well, actually, with Doge, you can buy more than that. But like Bitcoin, you're buying fractions of It's not really. I mean, it's not really shares. I mean, you're owning. You're owning virtual currency. It's virtual. It's out there on someone's hard drive, hopefully being protected and not being thrown accidentally into a landfill. But either way, you own it in one way or another.
I get why people do think of it that way, because they're exchanging US dollars for it, or whatever country's dollars. So they're thinking about I bought in at 58 cents or whatever it is, and so they're thinking of it like a share. But I don't really understand crypto. I've just been buying it for the last 5 months just for whatever. Hey, Quino over on Twitch. And you know what's cool about being over on Twitch is that we're at the same time. Did you know, Patrick, simultaneously, we are on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, whatever your medium of choice is. It's so great.
We'll be there. And if you want to listen to it as a podcast, you can do that too. You should hang out with us live, though, because we are on all those platforms. It's pretty amazing being able to be in multiple places at once, like multiple man over here. And I'm glad we can be where people want to be. I want to be where the people are.
I feel like is that the most sung song on this podcast, is I Want to Be Where the People Are?
I think it might be. Because it does get referenced. I mean, I do love Little Mermaid, but I am wearing a Disney shirt right now. I mean,
oh really?
Not to surprise anybody.
I didn't see it.
Oh, you didn't? Sorry.
What was it? Oh, okay. Standard Mickey. That's gonna be my son's birthday theme. Is the Mickey Mouse, because it's easy to get decorations for. He doesn't actually like Mickey. He likes Mickey, but he doesn't like it as much as he likes these other PBS characters. Mm-hmm. But those PBS characters aren't widely they haven't been around since 1928 and have a global presence where I can go on Amazon and quickly order paper plates with their faces on it. And so we went the easy route. Somebody was like, I bet your wife could decorate that kind of stuff, and I was like, I know my wife could decorate that kind of stuff, but does she want to?
That's a lot of time. Sometimes it's just easier just to go, you know what, I'm going to order a few things. I've got a friend of mine, shout out to Patrick at Party Planet. I got a friend of mine who owns a party store, and they constantly they'll have people come in and be like, I'm trying to throw a party that's like this, and of course Party City and those kind of places, they have what they have, but with a small store, they're like, let me see what I can do. I'll give you a call back. So that's one thing about local stores. Obviously, the time frame is going to be different than Amazon, because if you're wanting something by the end of the week, I can't remember when Ted's birthday is. It's coming up in a couple months, right?
It's in June, middle of June.
Okay, one and a half months.
So we're about a month out, and we do the same thing with our baker. One of my oldest friends works at a bakery here locally called the London Baker, so that's where we buy the cakes from. So that's where we're buying the cake with the Mickey Mouse face, and then my wife had a cute idea where we get cupcakes and then we break Oreos in half, and those are the ears.
Oh, that's cool.
On the cupcake.
That's cool and cheap. So you just are you gonna do black icing or white icing?
See,
I guess black makes sense for for the mouse, but
it
may look good with white.
I think it'll be white. I actually didn't make that decision, so I picked the vanilla cupcake just because it was standard. But I actually didn't pick. And the other reason why we have to go specialty is since he's got that allergy.
Yeah.
And my friend, she took the time to like come up with a good recipe that we tried for his first birthday. Very like nice and moist cake, egg free. Yeah. And so that's another reason why you reward those local people, is because they know you and they take care of you. We're a big fan of just liking our local facilities for that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's always good to do that. Support local businesses if you can. Sometimes it costs the same amount. Or
you can support a giant mega corporation like the Pokemon Company and buy Pokemon Snap.
Well, I mean, it is the largest. I mean, I'm sitting here wearing Disney merch, but Pokemon's got it when it comes to merchandise worldwide. How are you liking Pokemon Snap? Because I feel like I should buy it.
So we already beat it. Okay. We haven't 100% it yet. We burned through it over the course of like 4 days. I think we beat it on Monday. I would give it an 8. So okay. It's solid. It is very much, if you played 1999 Pokemon Snap and you're looking for more Pokemon Snap, it's good. Or if you're new to Pokemon Snap and you just want chill Pokemon vibes, I had a lot of people at work that were like, I don't get this. Why is this fun for you? And I'm like, it's the vibes. It's all about the vibes. But I guess it's not for everybody. Yeah. So I think you're gonna like it either way. But I don't know if you remember. I'm not going to spoil too much, but if you remember in the 99 one, there was like quirky little things sometimes where like you could throw an apple at a Pokemon and it would like knock them off a wall, or like you could irritate them enough to like make them evolve, that kind of thing. You know what I'm talking about? And there's not a lot of that. There is a few things that you can do. Different levels have different holes and stuff you throw stuff into and somebody will show up, and it's just not as interactive with the Pokemon. Like they give you like 3 or 4 different tools, and I couldn't make that spider show up in that spider web, by the way, if you're watching the video. I tried to get that guy to show up so many times that I haven't figured out how to do it yet, and I didn't want to look it up. There's just not as many of those moments where you're irritating them or you're doing things that make them do different. Some of the shots that Patrick's showing right now are those that you can do, but I kind of just it's the constant Pokemon complaint, right? We always want them to do more than they're ever going to do, and they're just not going. Oh, that's cool. That's another one I haven't seen. I know that level, and so
okay. I was gonna say this was their was it their first look? Hold up, this is it was a gameplay overview trailer. So I was trying to find something. Hopefully Nintendo doesn't flag us for it, but
I mean, never know with Nintendo.
Yeah, I only played a little bit of the old school one. I know it is like that. Everyone loves it. I know, and I understand why. I was in. It came. Let's see. So that was what my freshman year in high school. So it was my freshman year in high school. So I guess it just came to a time where no, I wasn't too cool for Pokemon then. I don't know why it didn't click for me. But I just played a little bit at a friend's house. I didn't own it, so.
But they're banging. According to this one article that I skimmed, because Returnal also came out this week, which I don't think you've checked out yet. But it's physical copy wise, it outsold Returnal 3-1.
Well, okay, doesn't surprise me. But also, people can't get copies of Returnal. Have you heard? Have you know about this?
Yeah, Robert was complaining about this in our private chat.
That's right. So Robert was talking about it. A couple other people that I know were saying that they were trying to get it. A couple people in PS5 Discord and Facebook saying they found one at Target, or they were out launch day. They got there late morning, early afternoon at Target, and it was gone. So they were either they didn't get any or they got 2. GameStop's getting ones just the pre-order and didn't get anything other than pre-orders. So I'm wondering if there were doubts about the game itself because it's not a known IP. Housemarque's a smaller studio and everything. I wonder if there were doubts about it where people were saying they weren't sure. if maybe Sony didn't think it was actually going to do that well, and maybe that's why they didn't shoot out as many copies. I don't know. I'm gonna have to play it though. I keep hearing good things, but actually in the news, I'm gonna jump forward as a news bit here. Housemarque came out with their first auto update today. If you're listening to this live on the 5th, and right before that, because they kept hearing chattering about people talking about what's that?
Second, is there a second?
Second update. Oh, the second update. That's right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about the second. I'm like, no, it's the 5th, dude. Come on, Cinco de Mayo. No. Yeah. So second update, and they were chatting about make sure you have your PS5 auto update turned off. And I was like, what is that about? So I did some digging, and apparently, if you lose power, if you have your PS5 in sleep mode, if it doesn't update to the game, you lose the run that you were in, and immediately. And this is the first time that I've not defended Housemarque on this roguelike. Immediately, I was like, that's some BS. Because in Demon Souls, in Dark Souls, if I lose power, or if I put it in sleep mode and I can't connect to servers or whatever, I'm still at the moment that I was at in my run. Which Demon Souls and Dark Souls are, I know it's not quite a roguelike, but it's similar, where you start a level, start an area, and you play it, to the end, to the next checkpoint. Apparently Returnal does not do that type of save. I thought that it did that similar to Dark Souls and similar to Demon Souls. So no. I call shenanigans now, because I'm hearing people talking about how long it took them to actually beat the game, where they were on a good run and they just kept playing, and I'm sorry, I don't have like 2.5, 3 hours to sit for one playthrough.
I've debated about this a lot with some people in some of the various socials that I'm in, where one person was like, well, what if you use that as like a thing to cheat? Like, what if there were saves and you use that as a way to cheat the system, because it is a roguelike? So the point is that if you die, that you don't lose all the progress, but you lose pretty much everything unless you beat the boss. Like, once you beat the boss, you beat the boss, and that's the key to the game, is like beating the biomes. But you have to go back all the way through those biomes again. I don't think there's any way to flash forward or anything like that. And one person was like, what if you use that to cheat? And I was like, who cares? It's a single player game. Like, what if I use that to cheat? But there needs to be some kind of background checkpoint system where I don't play a story game all the time, and I consider this to kind of be a story game, even though it is a roguelike. They did design it to have a story, and apparently the story is somewhat cool, although the ending's hard to unlock from what I've heard. Each run is like 2.5, 3 hours long, is what I've heard. And
that's what I'm hearing.
I sit max 2 hours.
Yeah.
And so what if I'm doing awesome, and then the next day, maybe I'm not feeling Returnal, maybe I want to play a little COD, I just want to shoot some stuff that day. I can't quit. I know I play COD on my Xbox, so for anybody who listens to this podcast regularly, don't call me up, but I can't quit. I have to go finish that run, and that's the way. There needs to be some kind of, I don't know if it's like per biome, like when you get to that biome, there's a background check thing that's like, okay, here's a save. So I actually had somebody at work who did that. The reason why I knew that there's been more than one patch is because they didn't turn off auto update. They had a great run going. They came in the next morning and said, I lost all my progress today because I forgot to turn off auto update, because I don't even think about it, because you don't think about it.
You don't think about it.
When do I ever turn off auto update? That's the whole point of standby mode, is to update my apps.
No, that's true. But like, I need to have a macro there for language to have Captain America pop up. I didn't think about that. I thought that they would have implemented something like that as not for those who haven't played Demon Souls and Bloodborne and Dark Souls, like, you don't get to save your progress. It's similarly, you don't get to save your progress. You go through the level. You lose a lot of things. You lose more in Returnal than you lose in the Soulsborne games. But for them to not have some type of background check or anything to the only way around it, the only thing I could think, because you're saying like, oh well, people could cheat. People are doing this with Demon Souls, and I think I mentioned this to you in a polo, and I ramble in my polo, so you may have missed it. Demon Souls, people are doing that for Demon Souls, where they will be at a specific spot in the game. They will upload their save to PlayStation. They'll play through something, I guess in offline. I guess they'll go offline at some point. I don't know exactly how they do it. And then if they don't get what they want, they'll pull this. They'll close out and pull the save back down from the cloud. So people are already doing that with Demon Souls, and Demon Souls I would say is even more hardcore than Returnal. But like you said, if this is a single player game, Demon Souls has multiplayer. So people are cheating in that, and multiplayer exists. Returnal's single player. It shouldn't matter. And the people who are going to do something like this, I mean, who really cares at that point? I mean, you're saving your progress to make sure you're okay with a specific run. It's going to be a background cloud save. Someone's going to be able to abuse it, but the majority of people are just going to be okay with it. So when they have a power outage, or when their kid accidentally hits the power cord, or whatever happens, I think I told you about this. My dog one of my dogs in Texas used to accidentally turn off my Xbox because the OG Xbox One. Yep, my OG Xbox One. He'd boop it and it would turn off like while I'm playing a game. So imagine playing Returnal. Your dog does that, and you're like, I lost 2 hours. And I'm with you. Like you said, you play max 2 hours. I play max like an hour and a half or so. Part of that's because of my back, though. And like when I'm playing. Or if I'm playing, I'm getting up and doing some other things, maybe a little bit longer. But yeah, I mean, I don't sit for 3. Imagine doing one run. Are you going to do one more, like after 3 hours of a run, or can you? I don't know. I'm upset now at a game that I wanted to play, because that to me, that's taking out the human element, like something that you couldn't control, and it's 2021. They should be able to patch to be able to have some type of failsafe, like you said, a checkpoint where you're not able to completely cheese everything, but something. So I'm irritated.
I have it on the list for sale. I was already like not super interested in terms of it being a roguelike anyway, because it's just not my bag. So, but I do have a thing about like getting console exclusives just to try them, and like that's part of the reason of owning a specific console, even though we own all of them. But if you're going to own a specific console, why not get the things that are, get
we
that,
own all
that specialty.
Of them, so we can have all of them.
I have it on PS deals for when that price drop hits, which reminds me, I think PS Plus games should be out, even though this month's PS Plus games are not great.
They are not so great. I'm gonna try that. What's that? PlayStation. What is it? The one with the sharks. I'm bringing it up because I wanted to talk about it. Or was I going to mention it?
Stranded Deep.
Yeah, I think the wife may like that because she loves shark stuff. So I think she may like that. The rest.
Did you play the other shark game with her?
I got it and she didn't like it.
Oh, I got you.
Like I was really surprised.
I heard it was fun.
Yeah, I've heard it was fun too. Like and it looked fun to me. It looked kind of repetitive though. Relatively repetitive, but I figured it'd be up her alley. But I think I think she would maybe she'll prefer the human viewpoint, like trying to survive and trying to get away from the sharks. I don't know. I've been running away from something that's not a shark, but it's big. It's just not a shark. I've been running away from this tall lady. So I got in Resident Evil 8 demo again because they extended the time. I missed the second one, but was able to play it here. I didn't miss out because you have the village and you have village and castle were the two demos. And if the third time frame, you get to play the castle. So I just played the castle, and it's good. I fumbled through. I didn't. I wasn't as efficient as I would hope I would be, but I'm really enjoying that they've taken 7, the survival aspect, and they've added a lot of 4 into it. So there's a lot of there's more loot There's a merchant who, if you played 4, then you're probably familiar with. But a merchant to buy weapons, to do weapon upgrades. So, there's going to be a little bit of grinding to certain aspects of it, but yeah, I liked it. It's very dark. I realized as we're playing this footage, but it's pretty good. I don't think it still looks next gen, but I think that's because I don't know if they're taming it down or what, but it doesn't look next gen in comparison to some of the other things that we're playing. Because this is coming out on PlayStation 4 as well and Xbox.
Yeah, I did see the reviews today. Solid from what I saw, but I did see that it is like getting slightly lower scores than 7 for different reasons. I don't know how much you read or listened to.
Not a lot. I did look at some stuff on Ratchet and Clank, but I stayed away from. I didn't think people were going to spoil Resident Evil 8, but I was afraid that someone would accidentally slip something. Like, I know a little bit about what's about the setup, and every now and then you have like a person who doesn't take something seriously and they spoil something. So I didn't want to be in that situation, so I kind of stayed away from it.
Yeah, but when's it out? Friday?
Masturbate Friday. Yeah,
you got it preloaded already?
I got it preloaded. I'm ready to play it. 7 is really good. Like, a lot of people didn't like it when it first came out because it's so different. I like the setting in this one though. The Victorian like castle, the vampire like characters, which are, they're still infected with some type of one like the progenitor virus or something. But there's a lot of mystery of like, who are these people? There's I forgot her. I'm gonna butcher her name, but the tall lady, Lady Dimitrescu, I think is how people are pronouncing it. Like, she's talking to a woman named Mother Miranda who we haven't seen at all. So people are like, well, who the heck is this? Like, there's a lot of mystery to it. So I'm excited about that, and to see how this will line up with the other games in regards to like the lore, because these ladies are old enough to be there at like the beginning of like all of Umbrella and everything. So there may be a tie-in there, but and mostly I'm looking forward to the puzzles because I like the puzzles. Did
you let her kill you just to see like what the kill was like?
I didn't. There is a kill at the end. She didn't actually show up in this one. One of her daughters chases you, and there is I should have let her kill me just to see what would happen.
Yeah.
There is a purposeful death that happens at one point that is like how the demo ends. So I'm now wondering if like that's part of the story where you're bitten and you're infected, which he's been infected, and he was infected in 7 as well. So maybe that creates some type of like I don't know, some type of onus for you to like have to find a cure for yourself or something. I don't know. But yeah, I like the setup. The wife was actually liking it. She didn't like 7 as much, which surprises me. She loves horror, but she liked the setting here. So I'm excited about that.
Well, have fun with it.
I'm gonna have fun with it. I know it's not your thing. What's becoming my thing, though, that wasn't before, is Discord, and we actually got some Discord news recently. We talked about last week, the week before, Xbox, the week before, Microsoft, the rumors of Microsoft talking about purchasing Discord, but it sounds like everyone was wrong, but close. PlayStation has announced a partnership with Discord, and I think it's a great move. I don't know if it's going to pay off, but I mean, anything to bring these communities together to be able to play. My question is, how is that going to interact? How is that going to work on the console? I mean, if it's just an app on your phone, it's just an app on your phone. But how is it going to integrate with me playing my PlayStation? How is that going to get me to be playing with Call of Duty or whatever with someone quicker, or being able to like? That's what I'm curious about.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly wonder if it's something where they just integrate it into the voice chat system. I mean, that's what we've wanted forever. That's what I've wanted forever. Discord has always just been a superior voice thing, and it's the fact that it's also promoting cross-platform play. Like Discord is all like, that's one of the primary reasons Discord is great, is because it doesn't matter which console or which PC or whatever you're on, you get to talk to that people, and you can also build little communities around there as well. Which reminded me, I created a LANCave Discord at some point, which I should just put out there on the Facebook page just for fun. If a couple people join and something happens of it, cool. But I did create that at one point.
I'll
but
jump on there.
it makes me think. So a few weeks ago, we had the rumor about Xbox, or Microsoft rather, looking to purchase Discord outright. We were throwing around like $10 billion was the thing. And I thought that was crazy, just because they had Teams, and, were they just trying to make a gaming thing, or were they going to change Discord into Teams? Well, that fell apart. And Sony purchased a minor stake in Discord. And I wonder if, I'm not saying it's the reason, but I wonder if that was part of it. Because if you remember, Sony also purchased a very, very minor stake in Epic at one point. Just, like, I think 1% of Epic or something like that. Nothing crazy, but 1% of Epic was still lots of millions of dollars. And then a very small stake in Discord. I wonder if part of it's like Sony was like, hey, why don't you just keep doing your own thing, and you can work with us. Here's some good faith money to show you we don't want to own you. We want you to keep doing the work. Yeah. And
you do your thing, you make it better over there, and people will play over here. Yeah. I mean,
I don't know if that was in consideration at all, but it just made me wonder.
I don't know if it's that. I don't know if it's that, or if it's just strictly business. Because there are decisions made that are strictly business versus decisions that actually help the user base, which we're all thinking about the user base and thinking like, how's this going to help me? And sometimes it's not about helping you. Sometimes it's like, how are they going to make a little bit more money here and there, or different aspects that help a company on the back end. So the Sony and Microsoft, Sony using Azure for server space and that type of partnership. Like, does that mean it's going to help us when it comes to crossplay? No. Like, that's a business decision. Yeah. And now that we had a little bit of leak, segueing right into the next thing, we had a little leak in regards to Sony talking about essentially leaked confidential documents. Basically, Sony not wanting crossplay, talking about agreements between Epic and it doesn't surprise me, but it's very Nintendo of them not wanting to entertain crossplay as much as say Microsoft. But it does surprise me now. Think about Discord and other things. What do you think the not validity of this, but where do you think the mindset of this is from when it comes to Sony's view of crossplay or not wanting to put an effort into it?
So to be perfectly clear, it's absolutely valid. So this is coming out as a result of I can't speak too much about this because I'm a stakeholder and so on, but the Epic versus Apple trial is going on right now, and this came out as a result of Epic sharing its dealings with Sony. So it's absolutely valid. The reason why it's money.
That's what I was saying. I was like, I know it's not about validity, but like what the viewpoint is. Yeah, I agree. All about the money.
Sony, during the last generation, Sony was, aside from PC players and everything, but Sony was very clearly dominating the console space, and they are about money. And I want to be perfectly clear. The other thing that we're going to talk about in a second with Epic is also much about money. All these companies are about money, but when we talk about the thing about why Microsoft can spend so much money on Game Pass and not necessarily care as much, and that Sony has to tread very carefully before it launches anything. That's the reason why it hasn't just been like, oh yeah, let's just integrate PS Now into PlayStation Plus or something like that, is because they when we're talking about the size of companies, Sony is smaller. There's still billions and billions of dollars going through Sony. They had a great year last year, but they said, hey, we're one of your primary user bases. We don't want to open that gate. We don't want to encourage people to play somewhere else. We want you to play on PlayStation, because that's where we get the money. Whenever you buy the V-Bucks through PlayStation Store, just like every other store, by the way, they get, I think, 30%. And if you're incentivizing people like, oh, I don't have to play on PlayStation to play with my buddy Patrick because Patrick has an Xbox and, you know, or whatever. I don't, sorry, I said that wrong. Patrick in this scenario would have the PlayStation and I wouldn't. You mean I don't have to buy a PlayStation to play on it? I can play on my Xbox that I already own. And so Sony was like, well, you're going to have to give us some money. There, it's the money. They're about generating money. That's the same reason why they're talking about that they want the big blockbusters, is that they're like, okay, we'll spend a good chunk of change. We'll spend $100 million to make $1 billion. Or whatever. Yeah,
well, it's why they invested in GameStop.
$500 million.
Xbox investing in GameStop, like that's because they're like, this is going to make us money, and you know, it's gonna be mutually beneficial. Everyone else, you know, and they did that before the shorting on GameStop and everything. Microsoft was like, this is going to make us money long term if this company continues, just like as we were talking about. Sony buying into to Epic owning in regards to making the Unreal Engine and getting in a little bit on that action, getting in on the Discord action, so that way they get a little bit more friendly. They create that partnership. So if we get an integration where I do party chat and party chat on PlayStation is Discord, meaning I start playing a game, I bring up party chat, and I can invite people, or I can jump into a Discord natively without even jumping into another app. That would be amazing, because then, like you were saying, people on Xbox, you were talking about, you pull out your phone to play with some people because of the party chat, right? Was that on Call of Duty, or use Discord on like?
Oh yeah, I used it for Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, and to be able to do that. To be able to have party chat like that would be amazing. I mean, I hadn't used Discord very much until actually the recent month or so, and I don't know why I haven't been using it more, because there's a lot of, you know, I don't know. I like the layout. I like how easy it is to use and to start up a group. We're using it for some D&D, and it's really, I don't know. It's convenient. And I don't know how they're making as much. I know that I know how they're making money, but it amazes me how much money they're making off of it, off of a service that most of the people use, for free. But that's how this works now, man. It's all about subscriptions and that and those microtransactions. It's not really microtransactions, but one way or another, I'm still amazed at how much Discord is worth. But Sony, if that's what you're doing, I'm very happy. I'm very happy about your partnership with Discord. But who should have been doing this the whole time, in my opinion, and is not going to, would be Nintendo. Because I'm sorry, but this junk, if you're playing on your Nintendo Switch, come on, seriously? So I brought this up because there's a new third-party Switch Pro controller. I think it's the Fusion that's coming out. That looks really great, and like they were talking about the features and everything, and it's got the little aux port on the bottom. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then like in small letters on the bottom, it was like the aux port only works when you in wired mode, because it won't work in your Bluetooth. So it's like I have to USB from the controller to the Switch in order for my audio to work. And I know I say this with a wire right now. Usually I'm completely wireless, especially playing games. This thing, I mean, that's the reason that this isn't plugged in, though, is because the dongle's in the PS5, so I use this when I'm over here. But I don't want wires connected to me. I'm trying to hide all my wires. I don't want to pull out all this stuff. So I really wish Nintendo would partner with Discord to figure their stuff out. But I think Nintendo realizes that they don't have to, but they should. I mean, this is 2021. I mean, I'm sorry, if it's 2021, I should not have to do all this just to play some, I don't know, some Splatoon or whatever.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think is just because they have so few games that they just don't care. Like, I say so few games. Nintendo obviously has tons of games.
Hardcore multiplayer.
They don't have multiplayer games. They have Splatoon.
Yeah,
Mario Kart's not really a team game. Fortnite would be, the big one. I assume that Fortnite has a decent install base on Switches.
Yeah, it does.
I don't know. It's one of those things where Nintendo gets to get away with it because they're Nintendo.
Yeah, that's true. That's one of those things. Nintendo's not as big as Microsoft, but Nintendo's not going to go down unless they do something really bad to their intellectual properties. Like, they're just going to keep making money, all about the money. I lost my train of thought because it's been one of those weeks. I know what I was going to talk about. Not about money.
I was gonna talk about money for a second with Epic, because we talked about the crossplay with Sony. I just want people to, whenever they're paying attention to these big companies, they're trying to praise them. So Epic came out last year with their whole 1984 ad, right, where they threw the thing at the screen in a reference to Apple's famous ad in the 80s, and they did the same thing to Apple last year. And during this court proceeding, Tim Sweeney, CEO of Epic, was asked if Apple had said, here's a deal that no other companies are getting. So for the record, Apple, just like everybody else except for Epic, takes 30% of the cut. That's just the industry standard, although some people are changing that. But Epic for right now is the first one that I think they're 11% of cuts. They said, we'll offer you a deal that nobody else is going to get. And they said, would you have taken that? He said, yes, I would have. It's about the money, folks. It was pure PR manipulation to get the free Fortnite thing going, and it was very successful. From what I saw, there was the hashtag trended. There's been stuff that's been happening during this court case where they have, like, I don't know how it's working, but they're doing it through like phone calls and stuff. So it's not even like a live courtroom. It's like telecommunicated like court, and I've never seen that before. But it's crazy. But there's been free Fortnite screamed on different things, and it's crazy. But I just want at the end of the day, you can have an opinion. You can want whichever company you want to win, and I get if you want Epic to win. I get if you want Apple to win. I also get if you don't care who wins, because they're both giant companies. Everybody's in the capitalistic nature of the United States. Their role, their fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders is to make money. They 100%. Don't care that much. I'm not saying that companies, Apple cares about a lot of specific things that it highlights. Epic cares about a lot of specific things that it highlights, and a bunch of other companies do too. But at the end of the day, they get to highlight those things in the hope that it generates goodwill enough for them to make more money. Yep,
that's true. Great use of fiduciary word, by the way. Great vocabulary word there. No, so it is that is what they're beholden to, the shareholders and everything else. That's what capitalism is about. We talk about video games in regards to art, right? Because video games are art. We absolutely love it, but video games are part of a business, and we don't like so much of the business encroaching. It's the classic people like to buy. They don't like to be sold. Like, I want to go buy stuff. I don't want you to try to sell me stuff. I'm probably going to buy that. But if you actively come at me trying to sell something, I may not want to shop there. Like, I don't want that feel. However, if you talk to me like a person and we're just talking about how much we like this thing, we mutually like video games, I'm going to buy it. That's why great GameStop employees are just chatting games and figuring out what their people like. I'm sure Robert's got his regulars. I haven't been to GameStop in a while, but like, there were people I would go there, look at some used games. I may or may not buy something. I'd usually throw in a pre-order or something. but people get to know you, and it's something
Right.
that's important. So, anyways, that's a rant. But speaking of getting to know people,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you get to know people, and they're I don't know how to segue into this because I'm exhausted. But
People can
bullying
be
is bad.
jerks.
People can be jerks. Sometimes you don't want to get to know those people. Sometimes people can be jerks. Thanks you for the save. So, Witcher 3 director has left CD Projekt Red now, and there have been talks about bullying in regards to the environment and everything. Essentially, doing investigation. They did investigations. I guess they may still be ongoing investigations. They've cleared him of saying like, okay, well, you didn't do any bullying, you don't have any wrongdoing, but he has left basically apologizing for the bad blood. So I'm feeling like maybe he left, of course, to save face or what have you, but also maybe feeling like and leaving in a way to say, like, okay, well, I may have not done it, but I was here and I'm kind of responsible for this environment. Because if you're the president, top down, you help to create that culture. So if that's happening and maybe he knew about it. Maybe he knew about it. Obviously, we don't know all the details, or at least I don't know all the details. But I thought it was interesting for a company director. I said president. For a director to step down like that, I feel like a lot of American companies wouldn't. Like, that person would, like, if they're cleared of wrongdoings, they're just like, cool, I'm done, I'm good, I'm gonna keep doing my thing. So I don't know if it's a cultural thing, but I don't know. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. According to him, he was cleared, and so it's a thing of to what level was he cleared?
Yeah.
And I don't think that that's something that we're ever really gonna know. I didn't read. I'm gonna guess it was Jason who wrote the article since it was from Bloomberg. Yep, it was. Yeah. So there was a several month long. Let's see. People are feeling fear. So I mean, I get it. I guess good for him. The question I would wonder, like, does he get to part with a bunch of shares in the company? Is it a thing of, what level of leaving are we talking about? But also, that was the director of your most successful game, I mean, ever. Yeah. And I don't know how, I assume directors are near the top of importance. I know that we talk about when directors change, like that's a big deal, and that's a sign that a game can be in trouble. I know that he's not the entire franchise, but he ran the project, right? So
you're running, yeah, in the video game industry, like you're director.
I assume it's like the art director. You're the person who has vision and so on. I know the producer is the one who's doing the managing.
Yeah, the producers doing the managing. They have to handle a little bit more, but yeah, it's basically you're driving this project not only in regards to completing every aspect of it and making sure it's all up to par. You have to have a knowledge of every aspect of this game. So if sound design is lagging, right? You have to know that before it's too late to go poke them and say, dude, come on, hurry it up. Like you have to be that knowledgeable. Or if someone says, oh, so something's going to take me 2 months, it's like, okay, it shouldn't take that long. What else? Like you have to be able to see through that crap and be able to manage people. So some of it's managing people, some of it is actually understanding what has to be done to make this product happen. And in the Witcher 3, like you said, the most profitable, best, I mean, the biggest one from a sales standpoint, it continues to sell. This is like Grand Theft Auto levels of staying power. Like Grand Theft Auto, Skyrim, Witcher 3, people keep playing these games. So I'm curious what he's going to move on to. If he moves on, I'm sure he makes a pretty good amount of money. So
yeah, I think that he was also listed as the second director and head of production for Cyberpunk. So that also tells you something there. So, he was a pretty top dog person. So was he working on Witcher 4? Was that even being is Witcher 4 even being worked on right now? I don't even know. That's not something that I know or am privy to. I don't care about The Witcher enough to know if it's been talked about or if CD Projekt has ever talked about it, but it adds to the fact that, you know, stuff is not good at CD Projekt. Yeah. I feel like that's now what month are we in? We're in May, so 5 plus 2. This is a 7-month-long adventure so far. That's just since the game launched. It was already in trouble with how many delays that it got. But 7 months since the game launched, we're still talking about them in a things stink kind of way. I don't know if you saw. Did you see where they tweeted out how many copies of the game they sold?
No, I didn't.
Okay, they tweeted out how many copies of the game they sold. And, you know, I understand that that's part of like an earnings release because we talked about numbers and stuff last time. But it was like, did your social media manager not just think about that for a second? Instead, it was a stupid number in 2020. So we're not even counting January to May. In 2020, the game sold over 11 million copies. And that was when it was broken. That was before the major patches, you know, in January. And so they're letting everybody know, like, we saw. Yeah, I bought a PlayStation 4 copy, which it's still not available on the PSN store to this day. I don't think it's going to be available until they launch the PS5 version. So I honestly think, I wonder if my copy of the game is more valuable. I actually should check eBay to see if it sells for more or not.
If the PS4 version, probably not right now. But yeah, I mean,
who knows? It makes me want to look, but it's just a thing of like, it was just a little tone deaf where it was just like, I get that you're happy about that, right? But at the same time, you sold 11.5 million copies of a broken game in 2020.
Of a broken game during a pandemic, and I'm sorry, but like, I know it kept getting delayed. It should have been delayed more. And in addition to being delayed more, they shouldn't have worried about the place. I'm sorry, should not have worried about the the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. The optimization and how terrible it ran on those consoles is inexcusable. And if you don't really care about it running on those consoles and it's contractual obligation, maybe figure a way out of that or keep delaying until you can get it to actually work. I feel like it's a disservice to anybody who purchased it on the PS4 who only has a stock PS4, or I've heard PS4 Slim actually ran it okay because it actually is a little bit more efficient than the OG PS4. But I don't know. It's like, if you have a contractual obligation, put it out on those consoles. Optimize for those consoles. This isn't like a you know what the benchmarks are. They knew what the benchmarks are, and they still couldn't hit that. And I'm sorry that it's become lazy when companies will launch a game in that state. I mean, we keep giving Bethesda crap. We'll keep beating a dead horse when it comes to Cyberpunk too. You don't do that. Apparently Witcher was broken when it released, and I didn't play Witcher 3 when it released, but apparently that was broken as well.
It wasn't as broken, but it still needed some fixes and stuff. But yeah, it's stinks for that company. Hopefully, I don't know, hopefully if you have somebody who treated their employees badly, that is going to help, but I doubt it. I bet the culture remains relatively the same.
You're probably right.
Not to be cynical.
No, I'm hoping, and again with, you know, I'm hoping that it won't, but then again, like, because I'm trying to think, like, I thought about, you know, the game director stepping down like that, where I'm thinking like American companies, there's so much American like ego that probably would stop a lot of, not all Americans, but a lot of Americans have that ego about them, where they're like, cool, I was cleared of charges, I was innocent, I'm just gonna keep doing my thing. But this, like, it feels like that, like he, felt responsible for it, whether or not they were blaming him. He was like, it was kind of, I let that happen. That was, I've been in workplaces where I had a toxic environment, and I've never been in a workplace with a toxic environment where the, at least to some level, managers, director level and down knew it was happening and just kind of ignored it. So that may have happened. He may have been like, okay, I didn't realize it had gotten that out of hand. Maybe that's what the situation is. But that's where I'm hoping. Like I said, I'm hoping that's helpful. But if he keeps making the money, 11.5 million copies in 2020, not even in 2021, it may not change because they may not have to if they keep making money, which is sad. But hopefully change does come.
Sad. You ever, is it Jim Gaffigan? You ever watching his stand up?
Yeah. Sad. I love Gaffigan.
He's doing that voice.
Is he gonna keep doing that voice? I loved he did a thing recent, I think it was an Amazon special that he did, where he it was like, I guess he was in Canada because obviously he's like,
oh yeah, I watched that.
Canada. You watched that? That was excellent. Like, people in the comments were like, are you sure he's not Canadian? Because like he knew, like it was like deep dive, like, you know, someone from Texas making fun of Texas. Like that's what it sounded like. It sounded like he was a Canadian who knew his country very well. He's good. He's deceptively intelligent. I'll say that because he makes himself seem like a buffoon, but he's a smart guy.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah, he's good stuff. But speaking of things changing, and hopefully change does come when it comes to this, xCloud and Microsoft. You're in the beta, right?
Yeah, I'm in the xCloud beta.
Yeah,
I've only used it twice, but
I'm still waiting for mine. I mean, I'm on Android, so I've used it on my phone. I want to use it on Chrome. I want to use it on my PC, and I still have not gotten my beta. But you said you used it a couple times. Like I think if a company's going to do it, and I feel like this is the future to an extent of gaming, not to everything, but if a company's going to do it, I think it's going to be Microsoft. They've positioned themselves so well, and speaking of going right back to what we were talking about when it comes to the Epic Games, Epic talking about
the lawsuit.
The lawsuit and everything. Thank you, and I'm sorry, I'm having an off night, but going right into that, back into that conversation, into the whole lawsuit aspect, Spencer. There was an email between Phil Spencer and Tim Sweeney where essentially Phil was saying that he was not ruling out putting xCloud onto other consoles, hasn't given up on that. And immediately, I mean, I think we're all thinking the same thing when it comes to talking about putting it onto other consoles. I mean, I think we're talking about Nintendo Switch. I think that PlayStation would be great, but I think Nintendo Switch would be an easier partnership. To put xCloud on a Switch, I think it'd be perfect.
Yeah, I think that is the play. There's been a couple of ads promos from Xbox people where there is a Switch in the background, and so I think that they're teasing that kind of deal as well. But I honestly wouldn't put it past Phil to also want to put it on PlayStation.
Oh, sure.
It really. I think that he has a different play in mind. It's whether he can ever get it done, and whether Sony can ever get that done. But I do think that we'll see it in a streaming capacity on the Switch. Who knows, in the next few years? Even if it's just, the thing is that when it comes to these deals, they can't do what they're doing on Xbox. They can't do what they're doing on PC because those indies are for sale on Nintendo. Yeah. So unless Nintendo gets like a massive cut of anything that's downloaded or whatever, and that's where it doesn't become profitable. The thing of what I think the way that they would do it would just be the game has to not be available on the Switch. It can't be available on Switch. If it's available on Switch, it's not going to be a part of that Game Pass plan. I just don't think that. Yeah. And so it's going to be, what are all these AAA games, or what are all these games that just can't run on a Switch or haven't been ported over to the Switch as of yet? Yeah,
Cyberpunk on there, yeah.
There's a number of all the Halos and all that stuff. There's all the first party stuff that could never run on the Switch, and then things like Outriders that couldn't run on Switch. So I think that is how you would see it happen, and I think that's why it's not done yet. But the fact that we've seen a switch in Phil's background, we've seen a switch in this other woman's background where I don't remember her name, but she did a promo for something Xbox related, and she too had a Switch, and she was in a studio. Phil's was at home, and somebody asked Phil about it, and he was like, I like the Switch. And it's like, of course, everybody likes the Switch, Phil, that's right. But she was like in a studio, so it was a purposely placed prop.
And I would argue Phil's was as well.
Yeah,
I would argue Phil's was as well. I mean,
why would you put somebody else's product in your background?
Yeah, you're especially with his position.
You have somebody from PR talking to you and being like, Phil, you can't put that there.
You'd think like you'd. Or if they would talk, they would mention it to him, and it would disappear the next time, and it hasn't. So yeah, I agree, and I think it was a purposeful play. I think it was a hint at what he wants to do or what he is going to do. I will say that this man has been the best thing for Xbox. I continue to be impressed with what he gets done, and his vision for what Xbox can be. In some ways, it's like I don't want cloud gaming to be the only type of gaming. Like I still want to be able to own my games. I still want to have, if servers shut down, I still want to be able to to play those games. And if I'm streaming the game and I don't have the ability to have it on PC or a console, then you don't have that. But at the same time, streaming a game, being able to cloud save while I'm playing it over here, and then going home and being able to download my cloud save, I'm happy with that world where I can do both. That's what I want, and that's what Xbox is doing. And that is, I'm just thinking, and I know that you have your Backbone, I have my Razer Kishi now, where there's a lot of mobile play that we do where we would not have done, right? We would not have done, say this time last year. It changed it a little bit for us, but at the same time, if I have my Switch and I can play Zelda and I can stream off xCloud, that's a pretty good game changer as well. Or for people who don't have a Razer Kishi, right? Like we're a little more privileged. We're spending a little bit of money to treat ourselves. But like, let's say you just have an Xbox and you also have a work laptop or whatever, maybe just a regular laptop. It's a janky laptop that doesn't have that great of a graphics card. But if you can xCloud, or if you don't even have your Xbox, with xCloud, you don't even need to have your Xbox. You can play that, on any browser based. Essentially, is what we're going towards. Right. That's a game changer for people who don't have $400 or $500 to throw at the new console and still be able to play these new games.
Well, especially once, and we talk about it all the time, but when 5G comes out, it's going to be a big changer for your phones. And
yes,
I'll say that if you're on an iPhone, which is what you have to do through the Safari browser, it works. I tried it. It recognized my controller, which is MFi. It's designed to where it wants you to be using an Xbox controller. So you might get a message on your phone that says, you're not using a controller. Would you like to proceed? And you just click yes, because it's going to work. I tested that. So if people do get that message, if they're using something similar to the Backbone, but they also make mounts. And so if you don't want to spend the money on the Backbone, and the Backbone's $100, which is a pricey controller. The Xbox One controller, I think, is somewhere around $55 or $60.
60,
and so that is a lower barrier to entry, and then you can get a mount for $5 to $10, and so that's you're in there for $75 at there. And then there's also just getting those sales that exist. I did get a controller mount for a DS4 for it was like $10 off Amazon, and right now I'm looking. You can get the Xbox Core controller, which this one's a Series X controller, which iOS did just add support for.
Very cool.
$54.98, so $55 versus the Backbone's $100. You can get that, and mounting your phone to it is easy. It just clips over the controller. There's the rotating thing, and again, that was like $10. And so as 5G becomes more of a normal, it's going to be valid. I did do it through Wi-Fi. I haven't tested it on my LTE, and I should do that just for the sake of being able to talk about it.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to test it on LTE. Yeah, I'm going to test it on LTE. I'm going to test it on. I'll probably test it next time I'm in, I don't know, out and about. I mean, I'm sure that if I'm on shoddy Wi-Fi, like, I would not recommend doing,
you're not going to go on Starbucks Wi-Fi.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Starbucks or McDonald's, which has like free Wi-Fi as well. Like, I wouldn't recommend this for anything like that. I complain about my upload speed, but you don't need it that much in regards to upload speed. Download, I think, what is it, like recommended 50, I want to say, or 40,
I don't remember
50.
Looking.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to have a decent connection. But like you mentioned, once 5G is the thing, this is a game changer. My phone's 5G ready, so I'm excited about that, and I'm probably gonna get a 5G hotspot when that lands too, just to have it as a backup, to have it if I want to go out and do something like.
And I'll say what is also cool is if you do own an Xbox, my saves worked. I opened up. I was trying Outriders because I wanted to see what an online game was worth. Don't recommend an online based game like Outriders. It did lag quite a bit in a gunfight, and so that's not going to work for you. It is going to be more limited to like your single player games. But it opened up my exact save. I didn't have to log into my Square Enix account, which you do have to log into a Square Enix account in Outriders to play it. But it instantly pulled up both my Square Enix account and my Outriders save from where I had left it, and so that was cool. So that's another thing. If you're out and about or you're traveling or whatever, you don't have to worry about the fact that your saves aren't going to be there. They do come along with you.
And see, that's what I was going to ask was if you had to do kind of I assume you didn't have to do a push, but had to do a pull off but Microsoft's really good about recognizing, like, you've got a save file. It'll download it like when you're launching the game. It's like, hey, I found a new updated save file for you, if it hasn't done a sync already. Right. I've only had one time where it did not sync. The wife almost lost it because it booted up Valhalla. And it was like fresh. It was like, hey, do you want to start? Because at first it was like, oh, the HD calibration, which she usually hands to me, and she's like, she doesn't want to get it wrong, so like she hands the HDR calibration, whatever. Sure. I give the controller back to her, and she's like, wait a minute. Like, she can tell it's like started a new game. Thought she was on the wrong profile. She closes it out, launches back, loads it up, and it was fine. And that was because I had played it on my phone to test. So I guess there may be a time where a sync time. Did you test it like right after? It was like the next day or something? Or do you remember?
Mean, my Xbox is always online, and so it was the next day. So I was playing I was playing some Outriders the night before, and then I tried it again.
Okay, so mine was earlier on the same day, so I don't know. Your mileage may vary on that point, but mine, like I said, there was a slight sync error, if you will. But that's so convenient to be able to play out and about, jump into an RPG that you're playing or whatever. You're playing Witcher or whatever, come back home and start playing. It's basically what we do with the Switch, except with better graphics. So
yeah,
what time to be alive?
What time to be alive? And as wrap it up, because I got to go watch the season finale of The Circle with my wife.
How is that? Nice trash?
It's good trash, man. It's good, solid trash TV. It's one of those things where you turn your brain off at night, get yourself a glass of wine, and you just lay in bed there and just kind of laugh at it. But I did want to mention, because it is the beginning of a new month, we talked about our 12 for 12 last month, and I have started my new 12 for 12 for this month with Trails of Cold Steel, the first one. I put there's about an hour or so of gameplay at youtube.com/TheLanCave. No commentary or anything. It's just the beginning of the game. So if you want to check out the beginning of Trails of Cold Steel, you can join that. Digging it so far. Well, hopefully it keeps me coming back so that whenever we get to the end of the month here, I'll have a lot more to say about it than I did Song of the Deep. And what are you playing this month?
So I'm playing Outer Wilds this month.
Right.
I don't know about
good RPG month, man.
It's a good RPG month, and I was going to say it's RPG month. I knew I had to start it earlier because just like I was watching your stream, it takes longer to get into an RPG, to get those juices flowing. You can't play like 2 or 3 hours of these games and be like, okay, I'm good. Like you play 2 or 3 hours, you're like, I have finished the tutorial.
Yeah,
and
now I gotta look at gear and stats, and I gotta figure out what are my starting moves. And so good. I didn't realize that last week that we were both doing RPGs, JRPG, Western RPG.
Right. Yeah, little yin yang action. But yeah, I plan on putting more hours into this than the others, specifically because it is an RPG. There are others where I'm like, putting in 3 or 4 hours into, not that we condone like having your final opinion on something, but just playing for 3 or 4 hours. But 3 or 4 hours is enough for you
to decide whether you're going to keep going.
Do I like? Yeah, am I going to keep going like week after week or day after day at a game, or am I on to something new?
After time.
Okay, that'll be our next song to sing.
So if you're joining along with us, definitely continue to do the 12 for 12 with us. Pick out games from your backlog. Say, I'm going to play this game that I already own this month. That's what we did. We have our whole year listed out. If you want to start with us in May, absolutely fine. Let us know either on Facebook or YouTube in the comments. Like, let us know what it is to say, hey, this is going to be my 12 for 12 game in May. We definitely want to hear about it, and feel free to come talk about it with us live on Wednesdays.
That's right. And join us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, wherever you are. We're sometimes on Twitter, and we're going to actually be part of Discord now. So jump into our Discord channel and do all those things. Subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Okay, bye.